Hail, raw chicken. How do you recognize a smooth brainer? How to recognize a retard? How do you know who's the NPC? Here's an easy way. They are incapable of first principle thinking. Thinking things through. Getting to the bottom of things. To the fundamental base level of things. Asking yourself, why is that? Why is this belief that? Why is this action doing that? Why? And guess what? Most of us will get wrong answers to those whys. So that's why you need to ask those whys all the time. You're basically trying to be a detective against yourself to prove yourself wrong. Until you find the real answers. You get to the fundamental level of things. And even that might not be enough. But guess what? When you start to asking why, it pretty much always leads to this place. Tell me one example that doesn't. And who are in this place? Freaking nobody. Like freaking 10% of the people on this earth. Or 5%. Or 1%. It's very small percentage. Because nobody can think anymore. They don't got the capacity in their brain anymore to think about these things. Why is that? Why do I believe this? Why do my priests say that? If people would start to ask those whys, these centralized systems would collapse. Why is the money going bad right now? Why is the politicians always doing bad things for my country? Why is everybody getting cancers in a sky-high rate right now? Why is 50% of the young people infertile right now? Why do I work for this job for little pay, basically a slave? But I have to do it because I have to survive. But what am I really doing? Am I really doing something good, whatever, world? Or am I freaking building the Rothschild Rockefeller system? Why am I doing this work? Why is our money like it is? Why do people get diseases? Why do people get sick? I wanna know, why do people get freaking hay fever? Because this grass is fucking killing me right now. This freaking grass pollen has been killing me. Wrecking my ass the whole week. My God, the days have been absolutely prime. They have been perfect. But I'm being blowing my nose. So why is this grass? Why I am allergic to this freaking grass pollen? Why is that? Now some people are like, always when they start to get some of the answers to these questions, like they start to know, like maybe 9/11 wasn't how they told. Maybe it wasn't 4 Arabic guys just doing some shit for Osama bin Laden. Maybe there was other players involved. Maybe JFK's assassination wasn't just Lee Harvey Oswald, one guy shooting the bullet. Maybe there were some other things in play. Maybe Rona wasn't what it seemed like. Maybe it was something else. Maybe the jab wasn't original. Maybe it was when you start to get answers to those questions, you're like, how doesn't anybody around me, my friends and family, how can they be this dumb? How can they be so smooth-brained, so retarded? Because they don't practice first principle thinking, my dude or girl. They don't do that shit. And then you ask, why is that? Because it doesn't make any sense that nobody's doing it. Like, how can they skip these whys in their mind? Like, why aren't they asking these super important questions about our reality and about this matrix we have built? Well, you see, the people who built this system absolutely mastered mind control. First they used propaganda, they used religions, the printing press, the news, those kinds of things. They were wolf in a sheep's clothing. They played super nice and they were good marketers and they could sell ice to an Eskimo and all day. But then you start to believe them a little bit and they come stabbing right into your kidneys behind your back and take everything you have worked for your whole life and everything your family has worked for their whole lives. They take everything and they let nobody else know what they do. That's what these guys do. And way worse. That's only the beginning. They do way worse. So first they use these methods. Centralized religion. Why do we believe in this? Why do my priests know about Jesus but I don't? Why do the Pope know the most about Jesus and God? And then the bishops know a little bit less. And why does Vatican have all these freaking material goods? And why is Vatican his own country? And why do these God-loving people do all kinds of henna sex to little children and all that? Because you cannot ask these questions. They also use food incredibly much. So your brain doesn't work, you don't have that DHA, you don't got those good ass nutrients flowing into your brain, those fatty acids and stuff. But this is the old school way. Nowadays, they mastered it. How did they master it? Oh yes, the technology. The thing, the devices you are looking at, Mr. Base Science, right now. The things I'm filming for you guys right now, these things were the ultimate answer to everything. These devices do so many harmful things for us. Firstly, they disconnect us from this place extremely much. Second of all, they can surveil everything we do with these devices, and they don't really like to talk about that for us, even though there's some leaks, Edward Snowden and stuff. Like, people kinda know that they're doing it, but they don't really let us know everything, and they don't let these things go to the news cycles too often, so we don't really talk about them. We kinda know about it in our consciousness, but the Netflix show is so good. There's so many things to watch on YouTube. There's so many good things to read in Reddit, to learn about. So we don't ask the real whys. The whys that matter, bruh. And the biggest one of them all these technologies do is actually the technology itself. The blue light these screens emit, and that's done on purpose. There's daylight computer that doesn't do it. But these boys, these gangsters, they freaking daylight computer, you can go suck my dicks. Because if we use that technology, our little mind control tricks don't work as well. Because blue light and the radiation these devices emit, they are the final answer answer because they work on physiological level. It's not just some belief bullshit anymore. They actually, like food, like geoengineering, those also work on physiological level. And now they marry all those things together. They got technology, they got processed food, they got geoengineering, they got fluoride on the water. They got freaking GMO food. For GMO people, if you took the jab, you are GMO people. Just know that. See you on the next live. Don't come near me or my family. Because I don't want any part of that shedding, bitch. Any part of that. So when they marry this, the blue light, it destroys our dopamine. It destroys our brain. It goes through our eyes, straight into the brain. What's the light that should go into our eyes? What that would actually heal our brains, that we would actually get the freaking base knowledge through first principle thinking. That's the light over there that we evolved over all these times we have been on this earth. That's the light that human beings are optimized to. Everybody knows that sunlight makes you feel good as a motherfucker. But what light do we get through our eyes most part of the day, most people these days? It's the light from these devices, going straight to your nervous system, straight to your brains, destroying your hormones. Then you eat like shit, you don't got those good ass nutrients flowing in there anymore. The blue light kills you even faster. Number one thing to protect yourself from the blue light is not taking any part of the blue light, throwing the blue light to the trash where it belongs and telling fuck you to the technocrats. But if you have to use it sometimes, well, you don't freaking have to. You can use the blue light blockers, you can use Flux, Iris, those softwares to block the blue light. But nutrition wise, you can use DHA. What parts of our body has most amount of DHA? Go check that one up. It protects us from the blue light. So if you're spending too much time with these devices, you're getting that blue light overdose through your eyes. DHA up, boy. You need all the DHA the freaking fishy fish has. So better start fishing or making friends that are fishermen or fisher ladies, because you need that shit. So yeah, first principle thinking. That's the way to the base knowledge. That's the way of base science. That's why most of these scientists kind of fuck. One thing they also use to control us is obviously the dollar bills. That's pretty obvious. And blackmailing, doing those Epstein, Diddy, Meyer Lansky things. So that could cut your first principle thinking, because if you ask the right question, you get your dollars they get trashed. That's one way to kill the first principle thinking. And the final way obviously is